Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host, Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Peter Kennedy, co-founder and COO of Tiger Media. Peter, welcome on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Glad to have you. So tell us who's Peter.
Yeah, so good question. So I'm definitely an entrepreneur at heart. I'm someone who likes to start companies. I typically start companies that aren't related to each other, which isn't very efficient. So I've started a company in the online travel business, medical device company, water sports and recreation business, and now my newest company, which is Tiger Media. It's a influencer marketing SaaS technology business. So definitely not an efficient way to start a company, but I think that there's efficiencies in the sense that when I walk into a new industry, I like to learn about that industry and become an expert as quickly as I possibly can. I like to look for that white space. And sometimes I think that when you come into an industry with little to no knowledge, so you're kind of dumb when you're walking to that industry, you're not kind of restrained by industry rules. And so it allows you to think outside the box. And that's kind of what I do. I'm also a doer. Like, I like to get deep in the weeds and actually do the work. I think I'm best when I do that. And then personally, I'm married, 19 years, same woman, and we have 5 kids together. So that's me.
Amazing. Well-rounded, and they have something called GOAT, which is greatest of all time. I think of you and I think of Moat, right? Master of all trades.
Or dumbest of all trades. One of those two.
Well, whatever you're doing, it's working for you. So keep doing it.
I'm doing all right. It's okay.
So tell us, what is Tiger Media?
Yeah, so Tiger Media is the leading influencer marketing SaaS technology company. So our clients are big advertising agencies, brands globally, who use our technology in order to find influencers, execute these campaigns, and then report on that data so you can figure out attribution, how that campaign performed. Okay.
So coming back to this question of the master of all trades, how did you get started in this space?
And it's a funny story. So I was invited to a poker party by a buddy of mine, and I was the only one who showed up other than another person. And I turned to him and I said, "What do you do?" And he was in the music industry, and he said, "I find musical artists before anyone else." And I go, "Well, how do you do that?" And he said, "Oh, I have this, algorithms." I'm like, "What do you really have?" He's like, "I have a Twitter stack on Excel, and I just listen to friends, and we can't predict music." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's take that same idea and let's globalize that. Let's try to map social influence of music." So the idea is, listen, likes, and views, which is how people were kind of predicting music in the past, has been gamified. I can buy likes, I can buy listens, I can buy all those things. But what I can't do is buy the mentions of people globally. So we said, let's go out and let's find all the people in the music industry that matters. Industry professionals, other musicians, music bookers, bouncers at bars. They're all on social media. Let's listen to what they say, primarily on Twitter at that point. And then whoever gets the most mentions is probably the artist that's going to take off. So we spent a summer creating this massive database trying to find all these people, right? And it was a lot of work. We created a minimal viable product, turned on the platform, and it worked incredibly well. Based off this guy's connections, we were able to go talk to the CEOs of all these big music companies. And literally they were like, "What do you idiots know about music?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything. He seems to know something, but I know nothing." But what we do know is technology, and we can listen to what everyone's saying. And they said, "We're not interested. We built this entire industry based off our gut, and you see all those gold records, that's from our gut. We do it better than you do." Now, fast forward, all those music companies are our clients, not to find artists, but to find influencers and audiences to expand upon, right?
How does influencer marketing work?
Yeah, so influencer marketing is a very difficult media execution. And in the past, influencer marketing was not media, right? It was mostly PR. It's now shifted from a PR activation to true media because I'm spending dollars. And anytime you spend dollars, you want to make sure those dollars are working efficiently. Now, the process of influencer marketing is, first, you got to find influencers who want to promote your brand, right? And then you have to work with them. Now, it's complicated because other media executions are very programmatic. I can go to Facebook, hit 1 million people for a very low amount of money with a touch of a button. With influencer marketing, I need to find these people. I need to convince them to do work with me. I need to negotiate a contract with them, their pricing with them. They need to upload content for my approval and the brand's approval. I need to report and find all these posts. So it's a very complicated media execution, and there's a technology piece that is needed in order to fulfill all those different parts.
How big is this industry today?
Yeah, so it is projected that by 2022, it's going to grow to about $15 billion in ad sales. We think that the tech side, the SaaS side, is going to be close to a $4 billion industry. And I think the growth of that really has happened because all eyes are on social media, right? Every single eyeball is on social media all day long. I mean, I've been on social media 3 times today already. And about 73% of consumers make purchase decisions based off of the trust of influencers, whether that influencer is an expert in the field or just someone that you trust and you like. My wife's so funny. She's like, listen, I love what you're doing. Congratulations. But this whole influencer thing is such BS. And I'm like, give me your phone. And I look across her account. I'm like, you follow like 20 people who are influencers. She's like, oh, no, I just follow her because I like the way she dresses. And I'm like, yeah, it's called influencer marketing. There it is. You trust these people. You buy their stuff.
What are some of your the favorite or the most impressive transactions you've been a part of in recent memory?
We're now working with VCs, and this is something that I initiated last year. And the idea is, okay, so if you're a direct-to-consumer VC, right, you're investing in, all direct-to-consumer brands like Allbirds or Vessi, companies like that. I can take that same methodology of how we found new artists, and you can take that same methodology to find brands, okay? So since we track everything everyone says, you can look at any brand within our platform, and we can tell you all the influencers who have talked about you organically and all the influencers who have talked about you from a sponsored standpoint, meaning they paid you. Now, organic means if you and I are both brands up and coming, and everyone's talking about you organically, you're the most popular brand, right? And if you're hiring a bunch of influencers, you know how to market yourself. You're using influencer marketing as a key indicator. So we took on 2 private equity and VC clients last year as a test. And now we've rolled this out to some major VCs, and it's really cool. So the idea is, listen, you're going to track 5,000 brands around the world. We'll tell you which one's more popular out of that set. We'll tell you which one knows how to market themselves. And then they introduce us to their portfolio companies, because all direct consumer brands, they need influencer marketing and they need technology. So
let me make sure I got this straight.
okay, yeah.
You're going to VCs now and you're saying, we'll tell you what companies are good at what they do, right? Organically and through these influencers, so they can make decisions to invest in those companies?
Yeah, so for VCs, popularity of a brand and the ability of a brand to market themselves are 2 impossible signals until now. And so is it the only signal? No, I mean, these guys are looking at, same store sales and all that good stuff, right? But these are really 2 interesting social signals, because every VC now, they're like, oh yeah, we track how many likes they have and how many followers. It's like, well, maybe those are fraudulent, which we can actually tell in our platform. We can tell how many fake followers you have. So all that kind of social, those social signals can now be kind of absorbed from our platform.
As an entrepreneur, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, that's so funny. I always say that, like, I always talk about that, like what keeps you up at night? Because when you're an entrepreneur, it changes every day. Like back in the day, it was like, oh my gosh, do we have any money tomorrow? And now it's all about our clients. Like, are we servicing them? Are they happy with our platform? What are they seeing out there that we need to add to our platform? So customer retention is pretty much all that keeps me up at night. And, how are we doing that? So, it's all about the customer.
And as like you said, your day has changed. You brought in a professional CEO as the founder of the company, and you have stepped into the COO role.
Yep.
What was the thought process and what was that transition like?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is ego, right? I mean, I just have no ego. My whole reason for being here is to grow Tagger and do this amazing big company. And so if there's someone that can do it better than me, then I want that to happen, right? I brought in Dave Dickman about 2 years ago, mainly for his global experience. So if you look back on Dave's history, he ran global sales for Apple when they ran iAds. He ran the whole business, right? And so I think he was at home probably 2 days a week or 2 days a month for about 2 years, literally opening up offices in every country around the world for Apple. And before that, he ran international sales at Turner. And so he lived in India and, he lived in Hong Kong. So as we think about Tagger, 45% of our users are outside the United States, right? Through Dave's connections, we've been able to grow substantially. And how we're doing that is through a reseller network. So it doesn't make sense for us to go and create an office in Brazil, right? But there are resellers in Brazil who take our technology to market and then blow that out. And all these relationships have been from Dave. I focus on US sales, and Dave focuses on international.
We're talking about the balance. What do you do for fun?
I surf a lot. My 15-year-old son is a great surfer, and so I try to surf with him as much as possible. As you can see, the red sun, yeah, a little sunburn now. So I like doing that. I also like fishing and skiing and doing all those fun things with my family. But definitely surfing is where I spend most of my recreation.